Hello and welcome to Gutted. I'm Aleece.
And I'm Tony, and we're here to spill our guts about horror film trailers.
And today we will be reviewing the trailer for A Quiet Place Day 1, which is set to be released June 28th of 2024. This film is directed by Michael Sarnoski and written by Michael Sarnoski and John Krasinski.
All right, let's check out that trailer.
All right, so that was A Quiet Place Day 1, directed by Michael Sarnoski, who I did look this up. He directed Pig, which I don't think you've seen that, but it was a really good movie with Nicolas Cage and his pig. Shush, because you can hear a cat.
Trying to stay quiet on this one.
Impossible, because Potato's in the background. She really wants to join the podcast.
Yeah.
And we put her in the room. Sorry, Potato. So that's what that noise is, if you hear it throughout this recording, which you probably will. All right, Michael Sarnoski, director of Pig, written by Michael Sarnoski and John Krasinski. And as we said, coming out on June 28th. I'm quite excited for this one. I did enjoy the other Quiet Place movies, especially the first one, even though I think they're all PG-13. And I know that tends to be hard in the horror world to justify a PG-13 rating. They tend to sacrifice other elements if they have a rating that's only PG-13, but I feel like it was still effective.
I feel like if you're going to do a PG-13 movie, a creature feature is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sort of like a family movie creature feature.
Yeah.
And then you get all the aliens and stuff.
And the cast, Joseph Quinn, I've not heard of him. Apparently he's in Stranger Things. I don't know. I haven't seen the show. I think I watched the first episode.
Yes, we are not big Stranger Things fans. That might be shocking.
I know.
Because it is very popular.
I know.
And it is sort of in the genre of horror sci-fi.
Yeah. We saw the first episode and it just didn't hook us enough to want to keep going.
We'll come back to it in
One
like
day.
5 years.
Yeah.
We usually come to things late. We're always late to the game. With TV shows especially.
Yeah, so after everyone else is done with it, we'll be like, let's check out that show. Also, as we can tell from the poster and the trailer, Lupita Nyong'o is starring in the movie, which I'm quite excited for.
And we do know Lupita.
We do know Lupita from Us. I feel like that's her other foray into the horror genre, and I loved her in Us.
Was she in any other horror movies?
I don't think, not that I know of. I think Us was her first horror movie, and she was fantastic.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, and she's in this one, so I'm quite excited for that. And Jaimon Hansu, who we know from A Quiet Place 2.
I actually don't remember much of Quiet Place 2. I think I saw it once.
Yeah.
I remember some people were running through a field trying to get to a building. That might have happened in the first 5 minutes.
I don't remember that scene specifically, but I do remember that Jaimon Hansu was on the island that Cillian Murphy went to. And I do remember bits and pieces because I only saw it once as well, but I do definitely remember that he was in the second one.
Yeah. So I have to go back and watch Quiet Place Part 2 because I don't remember that Cillian Murphy was in it. Was I paying attention?
What?
I don't know. I saw it and I remember it was Emily Blunt and her kids on their own and they're kind of leaving their home place.
Because
they find some other people.
Spoiler for the first one, John doesn't make it.
Oh, yes. Lots of spoilers for Quiet Place 1, 2,
and possibly 2.
Anyways, I don't remember Quiet Place 2 that well. But that's okay because this is a prequel. You do remember Jaimon Hansu.
Yeah.
So that does give you some information as to what could possibly happen in Quiet Place Day 1.
He's not going to die unless he has a twin. He's one of 2 actors that I've heard of in this, and out of the top 5.
Do you think we'll see Emily Blunt or John Krasinski?
I was wondering, I kind of feel like we might see them in the distance.
Or a cameo, maybe.
There might be a brief cameo where we see them at like a store quickly trying to get supplies, but we're not going to follow them. We're just going to see them in the background.
They're going to the mattress store to get their one mattress. That is their main fortification for their underground bunker.
And it works pretty well for 470 days, maybe.
Which was my biggest gripe about Quiet Place.
The first one.
Other than that, it was a great movie.
We have now seen 2 trailers. We tried not to see the second trailer because I actually did have some predictions based off of just the first trailer that we saw, but we couldn't help it. We saw the second one in the theater while watching something else.
They've been showing these trailers for months now.
Yeah.
So
what happens in the first trailer?
I don't know if I can discern what happens from the first and the second trailer. We do know that we are seeing the collapse of society. We're in New York. And we're following Lupita and
and her cat.
And her cat, yes.
Which I'm very excited for, her cat. When I saw the first trailer and she was holding this cat in the city, I'm like, oh, service cat for sure. And that was one of my predictions. And then we saw the second trailer and it spoiled it. She's in the
Congratulations. You got a prediction correct.
I got one prediction correct, but no one will ever know because I didn't get to record this before.
That's okay. You know, these are just to make yourself feel good.
Thank you. On code.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she tells the guy at the bodega, like, oh, it's a service cat. But she does have the cat on the counter. I feel like you can't do that. You can't put them on the counter. You can hold them.
So, yeah, there's a bunch of people in the crowded streets of New York, one of the loudest cities in the U.S., I would say, maybe, unless you live next to, I don't know, like some sort of steel factory or, I don't know, next to a
train track. Yeah.
But anyways, so it's a hustling and bustling street. And it's crowded.
Prime location for these creatures that have hypersonic hearing.
Yeah, there's a big crash of who knows what, some sort of meteor or object or something like that.
Yeah, first we see like a meteor shower, what looks like a meteor shower in the sky, and Lupita's looking up. And then we see a big crash, like explode into a car. Like, oh no, the meteors are coming.
So is it a spaceship? Is it each one of these creatures individually?
I kind of think it's each one individually.
They crash down on Earth and there's cars flying and it's just, turns into
chaos.
This scene of chaos that we've seen so many times.
Yeah, everyone's screaming and running.
Movies that are depicting the end of the world.
Yeah. I do like the little bits of stuff that you see in the background. So like you have to pay attention to the foreground and the background of this movie. There's a woman in the background screaming, help me, help me. And she's immediately swept up by one of these creatures.
Right. So we know from seeing the first Quiet Place that if you make any noise, these creatures can locate. They kind of have like some sort of echolocation, hypersensitive to noise.
Yeah, and they are non-discriminating. They don't care if you're a kid or a cat.
So are they out there attacking trees and stuff that are ruffling in the... Maybe they can discern between something that is just occurring out and as it should be versus...
Maybe there's a certain frequency for speech sounds.
We are witnessing the collapse of society and we are following, I think I just said this, but we were following Lupita and it seems like the other main character is the
guy, John Quinn.
Oh, I thought it was...
I only saw Jaima Hansu very briefly in the first trailer or very briefly at the end of these trailers. He's not with Lupita the whole time. It looks like even in the poster, she's for the majority of these trailers with John Quinn.
But he's got a big part in the trailer where he shushes her. She's covered in, kind of reminiscent of World Trade Center, like Ground Zero. She's covered in soot. And he's covered in soot and she's about to scream and he does the little
Or she's just coughing because she's like knocked out and she wakes up and she starts coughing because she's probably inhaled all that soot. I have a gripe about that. And every single one of these movies now is always a man shushing a woman.
Right.
Why? Why can't the woman shush someone sometimes?
Yeah.
Why are the women known for like not being able to zip it? Not being able to be quiet?
When I go to see Quiet Place day one, I am going to try to not pick it apart too much because I might start thinking about all the different noises that could happen or things that will make noises that might attract these creatures. And it will leave my head spinning because so many things make noise.
Yeah.
but we are watching a movie, so I'm gonna kind of release some of that.
Yeah.
And I do love these sort of end of the world scenarios.
I do too.
It's reminiscent of zombie apocalypse or like an alien invasion.
Yeah.
So,
and I have to say, I specifically love seeing the onset, like hearing all the murmurs of the end.
mm-hmm.
So I love that we're getting day one. That's one of my favorite sub genres. Like I do love these apocalyptic movies, but more specifically, I love the beginning of the end.
It reminds me a lot of Independence Day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're going from a movie that kind of focuses on being out in the countryside and kind of the aftermath and how a family has learned to cope and live in this world.
Yeah.
To now seeing it all unfold. So this is going to be sort of like an action-packed escape from danger type movie.
Kind of like, how do people react when they are put in a situation for the first time? What are their instincts? Fight, flight, or freeze. Whereas in Quiet Place, the first one that we saw, they've already learned all the rules. And so we get to see them be very savvy, which was really interesting as well. But I want to see Lupita and Jung Quinn and Jaimon Hansu. How do they react with their gut instincts? Let's get into predictions.
Predictions. Okay. I think that in Quiet Place day one, things are going to get real noisy. That's my prediction.
Like Potato, our cat.
Yeah, like Potato meowing in the background.
Quick side prediction. Would Potato make it in this world?
No, she would not. She would be swooped up immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, leads me to another one of my thoughts. There are so many animals that make noises. Are these aliens picking off cats and dogs? And, so many people have these little yappy dogs.
Those yappy dogs are going first.
Are they first to go?
They're first to go, which is that a bad thing?
Can they zero in on a squirrel, like making the little... Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on, it's kind of like which one is noisier than you. You have to be like, it's kind of like that whole bear analogy. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than the person next to you. Right? So you don't have to be quieter than a squirrel. You just have to be quieter than, the yappy dog next to you.
I want to see the action at the zoo where there is actually a bear or maybe a lion. The lion roars and then all of a sudden gets eaten. The lions
get it.
Maybe we'll see that.
But lions are only, I feel like they're reactionary. They're not going to just be growling at nothing. So lions might be safe unless they are pitted against the alien.
What about like a lamb? Lambs are kind
of yappy. I feel like the lambs will go. Something else that just kind of like starts yowling for no reason.
So this is going to be heavy on the animal deaths. So I'm sorry to those who are. No, that's not my prediction.
We didn't see any zoo in this trailer, so we have no reason to believe that we
have the cat, but I am going to predict that the cat is going to survive.
Oh, I hope the cat survives.
Even though the cat might meow. Cats, they're tricky. They're survivors. They have 9 lives.
There's going to be an uproar if that cat dies. If Lupita uses the cat as like her bait, like I'm going to put a little jingle ball on your neck.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And I got to get away. Sorry, Mittens. No, she will lose all sympathy if she does that. So I feel like the cat has to live. I do feel like the cat will get away from her at some point, but she'll find the cat later.
Yeah, like right at the end. Okay, my third prediction is that Lupita is going to die.
Really?
It's kind of like the John Krasinski dying at the end of Quiet Place, where you have a big emotional moment.
So maybe she's going to like scream and sacrifice herself for her cat.
Yeah. And then, we kind of know that Jaimon's character...
He's going to live for sure because he's in the Quiet Place.
Apparently he's in the second one, but I don't remember.
Yeah, he's on the island. And I do like that he does get to do the iconic shush. I just would like him to shush John Quinn. Why does he have to shush Lupita? I think John Quinn... Or
if he shushed the cat, that would be good.
Shush, kitty.
Stop meowing.
I do definitely think the guy in the poster, John Quinn, I think he's going to die.
So do you think that Lupita's going to survive?
I thought she was going to live and that John Quinn would die, but she has a service cat for a reason. So whether that's because she has a fear of social or the outside world, or she has like social anxiety. Perhaps she'll overcome that and face her fear and die in like a sacrificial sort of way. But no,
But what does it have to do with social anxiety?
Well, if you're socially anxious, then you're going to try to get away from people. But she's going to be accepted into a group of people, a group of survivors.
So you think we're going to meet a larger group of survivors?
I think we're going to meet a little bit larger of a group, because we do see that scene in the second trailer where she's in some sort of dark, I don't know, mart. A dark,
it's like an older guy.
Store. There's an older guy who definitely gets it. So I think she is going to kind of overcome her social anxiety in this apocalypse. She's not going to need her service cat anymore, which is good because she's going to lose her service cat at some point.
But in an apocalypse, if you overcome your social anxiety just to have everybody wiped out, then you don't need to have that social anxiety overcome. The apocalypse is perfect for introverts because at the end of it, if you survive, there's no one left.
So Lupita's like ecstatic.
Yeah.
She's like, great.
You're like, all right, I get to finally live by myself and I don't have to interact with people.
Live my best life in the apocalypse. But that's the thing. She's going to realize that she actually likes people and she needs people. Okay. Even though people are being wiped out, and before all this happened, she had a fear of people. Now she's going to realize that she actually doesn't. She actually wants people. She needs people. I think that she will live, but she has some sort of social anxiety. That is why she has the service cat, and she will overcome that fear and that need for a service cat.
All right. That sounds pretty good. I like that there's a positive message in your mind.
Yeah.
Whereas in my mind, it's like everybody dies except for the cat.
The cat prevails.
Cat prevails.
And Jaimon Hansu, they go to the island together. Jaimon and Cat.
And it's just an island of cats.
That would be great. I will go there.
Okay, right. So clearly we kind of mentioned that this movie reminds us of things like Independence Day. This is going to be more of like an action thriller. One of the things I'm hoping this movie doesn't do is use all of the kind of overused cliches of an apocalyptic or end of the world scenario type movie, although maybe it's hard to get away from that sort of stuff.
What kind of cliches?
I don't know, a big motivational speech like in Independence Day.
You don't want Bill Pullman delivering a motivational speech?
I've already seen it at its best, so I don't want to see it again.
If you give a motivational speech, you're going to be a prime food for the aliens.
Let's see, military comes and nukes the city. That always happens.
Yeah.
Maybe these things happen and maybe they just don't bother me because they do happen in every single end of the world scenario, fall of the city scenario. The military is going to come in and nuke the city. Or
they're going to get word that the military is coming and they're going to be like, we have 20 minutes to get out of the city limits before we get nuked. Where's my cat?
They're going to find a group of survivors and there's going to be another group of survivors who are evil. That always happens.
They're going to get all that in?
I don't know. Actually, one of the things that might be a negative, hopefully they don't overdo it too much, is if they set up scenes so that there are random things that could make noise, that will make noise, that will build the tension. So like we did see a little bit of that in the trailer where there's a generator that's kind of malfunctioning or something.
And the old guy sacrifices himself, turns it off, and of course dies.
But he like gurgles or chuckles or something.
He's like, oh.
Yeah, he makes like the smallest little noise, like
because he know like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, and then gets taken out.
The Pillsbury Doughboy would never make it in.
Or the scene where they're in one of those the turnstile thing.
Yeah, the revolving door.
Yeah, and there's a briefcase that's stuck, so they're like, uh-oh, and they're trying to be quiet about it, and the thing pops open.
And of course, they're in a glass building, so you can see all the aliens coming for you, just scaling down these glass buildings.
Yeah. But the aliens themselves are making lots of noise and the glass is crashing. So wouldn't that throw them off?
How come the aliens don't attack each other? Interesting.
They must also have a sense of smell that is
maybe they do have all the senses except for sight, apparently. But their hearing is just the most pronounced.
Oh, another thing. So like if there's excessive scenes where someone's being very still, sort of like Jurassic Park, where you have to stand incredibly still.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the thing is like sniffing all around and basically touching the...
It's crawling over them and Lupita's just shaking, covering her mouth. And the thing has like its hand or a foot on her face and she's trying not to move or peep.
So, you know, that's why I say I think if I overthink this one, then I'm going to find a lot of things that I find problematic.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like it's going to be a fun movie regardless.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be full of action and, you know, we get the people get the hell out of the city, get to the country.
I think Lupita is going to make it to that island with Jaimon Hansu.
Happy ending
Happy
with her cat.
ending with the kitty.
Yeah.
But not John Quinn. He's going to die. Okay. Let's look at that poster.
So we are here in New York City and there is a large building on fire. It looks like the Empire State Building. And Lupita is right in the middle with her mustard colored jacket.
Her mustard
sweater.
cocoon sweater. I love that sweater. And her hands clasped over her mouth. So she gets it right away. She's like, I gotta be quiet.
Yeah, and the home dude, he's like in a business suit and he's
like ushering her through some broken down cars or something or abandoned cars.
So she's just aghast the whole time and he's like, we gotta get out of here.
I don't know if she's aghast. She's more like, I gotta be quiet. And he's like, I'm gonna go. I'm not even trying to cover my mouth.
Yeah.
And we do see the meteor type things in the sky. And Lupita's looking up. John Quinn's looking ahead. So he's not surveying his surroundings. I feel like Lupita seems very calculated. She knows she needs to look at the environment before she just books it. Yeah.
It says, stay quiet, stay alive.
Yeah.
Although if you're running, you're making noise from footsteps.
Okay, so there was that one scene where it looked like a whole crowd in the streets of Manhattan walking very slowly and quietly. And I thought, ooh, do they all figure it out and they all start walking in mass exodus out of the city?
Yeah.
And then of course one person bumps a car probably and a car alarm goes off. That causes chaos.
Of course.
But I would like to see a giant crowd of people just walking really quietly together.
Yeah, and then some New Yorker instinctively shouts, I'm walking over here. And then he gets eaten, of course. It could be a poster to White House Down or...
Oh, yeah. Olympus Has Fallen.
Right.
Gerard Butler movie. Yeah, just replace John Quinn. Gerard Butler. Boom.
Yeah. What kind of merch would you get?
I want that sweater.
The sweater?
Yeah.
So you just want this poster printed on that sweater?
I want a Quiet Place Day One sweater. But like, I want the sweater with a tiny little emblem of...
It's got to have the poster on it, like a print of the poster.
It can't be a sweater with a picture of Lupita wearing the sweater. Actually, that could be kind of cool.
Maybe it is that, but that's just the image on the tag.
Actually, I would love the sweater with Lupita wearing that sweater etched or just stitched in black stitching. That way, because it's like she's wearing the sweater.
Yeah.
You don't need to have like the mustard sweater.
And then down the sleeves, it says Quiet Place. And on their sleeves says Day One.
Ruins it. No, the tag on the inside can have that title.
But what about on the back?
No, we'll know it's Quiet Place Day One because Lupita's on the breast pocket.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. That sounds cool.
Thank you. Someone please make
we've come a long way from just posters. Okay,
sticker. Now we want a whole sweater.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get the business suit, but this poster is going to be printed all over the business suit.
Ew.
I will be hired at no job.
Sounds very Warhol of you.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, poster's okay. I would give it like a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5? Okay.
Or a 7 out of 10. I don't know if that
translates. If I had that sweater, I would give it a 5 out of 5. But the poster itself, yeah.
Yeah,
like
we're
average.
rating the poster. The
poster's average.
Yeah, it's all right. Mm-hmm. It does the job it needs to do. When are you going to see Quiet Place Day One? Is this an opening weekend film? Is this an in theaters eventually? Wait for streaming? Or did you see all you need to see?
I mean, I feel like I've been waiting for this one. I'm going to see it opening weekend.
Opening weekend? Yeah. Okay. So I, by default, will also see it opening weekend. Yeah. However, if it were up to me, it would probably be an in theaters eventually.
Yeah, I figured that as much for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this one would be good to see in theaters because it sounds like...
It sounds...
No pun intended. It's going to be a lot of... Well, hopefully, if this film is successful, it's going to do what Quiet Place 1 did so well in the sound design.
Editing. Yeah, and the first Quiet Place was nominated for an Oscar for sound.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah. There have been quite a few horror movies this year, but when I saw that this one was coming out, it was going to be I don't typically like prequels, but this one I accept because I do want to see the day one of this event. And I do want to see Lupita in another horror film. So I have been anticipating this one for
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm with it because of Lupita. She is awesome, especially in the horror genre. We would definitely want to see more of her. Okay, I have a really strong feeling that this is going to be a fun movie to see. However, it might be the type of movie where if you try to overanalyze it, you're going to hate it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, you're going to nitpick all that. I'm definitely going to nitpick, but it's okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, final thought? No?
I'm going to stay quiet on this one.
Stay
and
quiet.
just wait for it to come out and hope that it's entertaining.
Grab your cats, get quiet, go see the movie. Okay. All right. If you've liked what you've heard today, please subscribe, like, and or give us a rating. Give us a comment. We do love hearing your predictions as well. Thank you for watching and or listening. This has been another episode of
Got it.